Good morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. A bit later than normal this morning, but that's what happens when you have a lie-in. And there's lots of Celtic news to talk about this morning. One is a Celtic player that could save Celtic quite a lot of money. Yeah, there's a Celtic winger that could save Celtic a lot of money, who's in fantastic form. But the bad news is, for some Celtic players, Brendan Rodgers has admitted that some of the top stars will be leaving Celtic this summer. But for the Irish boys, well, it's all good news for them. Two of them have been called up to the international setup. It's going to be a busy summer for the likes of Adam Idah and Liam Scales. They have been called up to the Irish Republic's squad, so they'll play in games, and it's still unsure what Celtic players. It'll probably be Callum McGregor will get called up for Scotland. Daisen Maeda was rested for the Japanese qualifiers, as was Rio Hatate. It doesn't look good for them going into the international games next month. Yeah, it's next month because we've still got a couple of days left in May. But for Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty, it's bad news for them. They've missed out. They have missed out on preparations for next summer's World Cup finals. It comes with it's a yin and yang, that the whole international setup. Whilst I don't see why international games should be played in June, especially when the season's over and done with by a couple of weeks. It'll allow Cameron Carter-Vickers and Trusty to get some good old rest period. I'm not going to say too much about Daisen Maeda and Rio Hatate because Celtic manager has confirmed that Celtic will lose some of their best players this summer. Rio Hatate and Daisen Maeda. We're just waiting on the day that happens. That they will leave the club this summer. There's no doubt about it. But for the likes of Austin Trusty, who will be at Celtic next season, and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Cameron Carter-Vickers did need some time out towards the end of the season due to the fact that, his fitness levels was there. Like I says, Brendan the other day with Sky News, I was meant to mention it the other night, but I forgot all about it. We all knew that Brendan would say that. I mean, we all know that players would leave Lanky. When it comes to it, we all know that Daisen Maeda and Rio Hatate will leave this summer. It's been spoken about often enough, especially when it comes to Rio Hatate. Anyway, moving on from that, Adam Idah, it's good news for him. Liam Scales, they'll both be looking to try and get some game time for the Republic of Ireland. They face Senegal in the Aviva Stadium on the 6th of June before heading to Luxembourg for a friendly. Senegal, that'll be a good test for them actually, especially for Adam Idah, because the Senegalese, let's say it, they're all tall lads. So hopefully it gives Adam Idah a bit of a taste what's to come in the Champions League next season for Celtic. Both Adam Idah and Liam Scales made 39 international appearances for their country, which is good for them. And it wasn't so long ago that Adam Idah obviously joined Celtic, but Liam Scales, to think about it, it wasn't so long ago that he was almost shipped out the door at Celtic. What a turnaround of a career it's been. And I know he's not the best defender that we have, but as a squad player, Scales is there all day long. He's a fantastic squad player. Is he a number one defender at Celtic? A lot of people will say, maybe not. He does have that old shirt tugging thing that he does too much for me, that costs us dearly in games, but I wish both of them the world of luck going into that. Now on to a bit of good news when it comes to Celtic, or could it be? Celtic are in the hunt for a winger, and there's a forgotten Celtic player who's actually managed to reach a bit of form, who's actually in the form of his life. Yes, it's the little Australian. Remember him? Marco Tilio. Marco Tilio, his $3 million grand final weapon, it's in Australia. It says, you've got to stop Marco Tilio going into the grand final league game of the Saturday night decider. Said he's the man to stop. You see how good that Marco Tilio is. Marco Tilio is obviously the player that came with a big price tag from Australia to Celtic, $3 million Australian dollars. He's now 23. It could have been the fact that the loan spell for him back in Australia has done him the world of good. I believe that Celtic don't really fancy him and want him to come back, but if he has to come back to pre-season training this summer, could he be the player, and there's always one that does it every season, could he be the player that in pre-season gets Brendan Rodgers sitting up and going to the staff? That loan worked out well, didn't it? He's come back a better player. And heading into the grand final this week, Tilio's when you look at his last 4 matches, he's the number one player in the Western United. Well, he's in the A-League in Australia. Don't know about that, but it's the Australian League, isn't it? When you look at his stats across the course of the season, this report says coming out of Australia, he ranks as 14th best player in the league. Yeah, I said it, 14th best player. But when it comes down to stats towards the end of the game, at the end of the season, he's actually scored quite a lot of goals and assists, which is unbelievable. So it does look like he is starting to hit a bit of form. His ratings overall with the specific traits and metrics come to the same as... So, he's in the form of his life. And he loves playing in that robust 4-3-3 formation. Could he save us some money until Jota comes back? That's the big question. And I think that if he is hitting a bit of form, he is still a Celtic player. We know that Celtic are looking for another winger. He could come back in, and I'm just saying this, Marco Tilio could come back in. He went out on loan. He did keep on. He went out on. I'm fucking trying to Alex, come out and come back in. It's your end. It's all fine here because I'm watching it through the replay on the thing. So, but Marco Tilio is a player that could he save us some money until Jota comes back in January? Could he save us some money? I'm not too sure. Thailand should return to Celtic. Thailand? Alice says Thailand should return to Celtic. Anyway, it's good to see that I'm finally getting a bit of form. And the report then goes on to say he's putting in the best numbers of his career when it comes to passing, while other metrics have not suffered as an influence has grown for City. So he seems to have got better. He's actually in better form now, according to these stats, than he was before Celtic put in an offer for him. So it looks like he has got better. Obviously, he had a bit of bad form when he came to Celtic due to lack of game time and injury. When he went back to Melbourne Victory, he had a bit of injury then. But they're saying that his stats are as good as Daniel Arzani. That's a big statement coming out from it. When you look at the top 5 leagues in the fast prize season, Tilio's matches technical profile of Daniel, fucking no chance. They reckon that his stats, and the thing is we were listening to an article the other night where managers and teams are driven by stats. Could the stats that Marco Tilio has produced towards this end of the season down under. And then goes on to say, with that in mind, it's fair to say Tilio is back to his best and should have his sights set back in Europe. Whether it eventuates at Celtic or another club, he has unfinished business to attend this weekend with an incredible return to form. An incredible return to form. And that's what got me thinking. Could this be one of the comeback stories of the season? Could it be one of the comeback stories of the season, of next season? Could it be? Could he do a Scales? Do you know? Could he do a Scales? Jed Johnson says, agree, Baz. Trusty will cost us a penalty. No, not Trusty. It's Liam Scales cost us with his shirt pulling. Liam Scales does the shirt pulling, I said, not Trusty. Is Tilio coming back? Yes, he's due back because his loan is up. His loan's up. So he will be due back to Celtic at the end of his loan period, which is now the end of this month. So unless Celtic sell him during the summer, I've got a feeling that Brendan Rodgers will look at the stats. Brendan Rodgers has already admitted that players will be leaving the club. Some of your top players will leave the club. Dyson Maida, Rio Hitati, maybe even Kuhn. Stat means if all, it's about performance and development, it says Lanky. Lanky, go and tell that to Rennes. I'm just saying, go and tell that to Rennes. Because old Lee Kyogo, he's getting punted out the door at Rennes because he starts at Rennes. Bring the koala back. That's terrible, calling him the koala boy. Alan Muir says, sell Engels and buy Lennon Miller. You're not going to sell Engels this season. Although we would make a profit. But you're not selling him this season. Not a chance. I've said who I think will leave Celtic this summer, and I still stand by that. I think it'll be Rio Hitati, it'll be Dyson Maida, maybe Kuhn. Celtic will be very, very reluctant to sell Nico Kuhn, but with the game against Newcastle, watch that one. So I think that the two big ones that will lose will be Dyson Maida and Rio Hitati. We need to get in a striker. We've already lost Kyogo, so that's 3 immediate players that we need to bring in. We need to bring in a winger because of Jota out injured, and then the manager has already said that he was aiming for 2 midfield players. Well, if you're losing Dyson Maida and Rio Hitati, you're going to need another midfield player anyway. So there it goes. Who cares about clubs? It's all about Celtic. So you're not going to enjoy the last 5 minutes of this show then, Lanky, because it's been a while since we've had a laugh at the other team across the other side of the city, and whilst they've filled us with joy with the banter years since 2012, and if you look back at this channel, there is a specific playlist called the banter years, and it goes way back before the modern meltdowns. This goes way back, the banter years playlist on this channel. But the Sevconians have been turned down by their 5th manager. Yes, I've said it. They've been turned down by their 5th manager. Stevie G is not coming back to Sevco for family reasons. He's rejected the job. Stevie G's rejected the job. Oh, Jesus. And I just thought that we would maybe end it on that funny note, because let's face it, they still think they're coming. I don't think so. Anyway, that is your Celtic news for this morning. Marco Tilio could save us a fantastic amount of money. Adam Ida and Liam Scales are 2 Celtic players that will play in international games this June. I still think it's crazy, considering the 2 of them are on holiday just now. I mean, is it right that we should even be playing in international games? Because the players some of them went on holidays, some of them will just have down tools completely. They're no longer training, but then they're going to get called up for their international. Modric's player manager role, not a chance. This year must be a record for the amount of meltdowns. Yes, it was. I think it was. Was myself gutted, wanted them back, so we could. I'm not saying that, David. Oh, Jesus. Kaiser's in the house. Scales. Okay, John. Brendan loves players going on loan for football occasion. Look how much Ryan Christie came on from loan from Aberdeen, says David. Yeah, and I'm just wondering if that's what got me thinking about the whole Marco Tilio thing. The fact that he is hitting the best form in his life. According to the media down in Australia, he's in better form than when Celtic came in for him. So anyway, I've noticed that Kuhn has been tapped up all over the season. Carrying an unannounced injury, methinks. I don't think so. I don't think he's carrying. I take Kyogo back. He's getting punted by. No, you're not taking Kyogo back, Mikey boy. He wanted away. This is Celtic fans need to realise that when a player Brendan Rodgers stood well, he sat in the hot seat at Celtic Park, and he said, "We've known for months Kyogo wanted away. He's not coming back. Jota was sold for big money. Kyogo kept on going at the manager. I'm wanting out of here. I'm wanting out of here." So anyway, that's it. The governing gaffer is not coming back. John, now we Barry, Blues got a new manager's job. You invite Keo shat it, the sheets. He can have a lion. Yeah. Anyway, that's your Celtic news this morning. It is all about Marco Tilio, and can he be the player to ultimately save Celtic millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds in the transfer market? Can the wee Australian come back? He's in the form of his life, according to stats from down under. Irish boys making the international stage in June. The Americans don't. Fair play to the Irish lads. Bad news for, obviously, the two Americans who would have loved to have been going back and playing with their national team. Wonder what it'll say for them coming into it. Celtic target. We're just finishing off with this one. A Celtic target has makes exit with fantastic step. I'm not confirming or denying, and I'm not even talking about Celtic transfers until they're done and dusted this summer, because we're getting linked with everybody from old faithfuls like the Brøndby striker who's been linked with Celtic for years to up and coming and old has-beens. Anyway, that's your Celtic morning news. I shall see you on the next video. Have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. And yes, I did sleep in this morning, by the way. I slept in and I woke up and it was like 11:15 here, and I'm like, what the fuck? So that'd been 10:15 your time. And I'm like, Jesus, where's the day went? Anyway,